Thank you, everyone. Yes, so again, my name is Adina Halter. I've been at Comcast for about 3.5 years, and before moving into the accessibility department, I was an engineer. I was a programmer. So I'm bringing to you some coding practices, some of which I'd started at Comcast from the engineering standpoint, and some that when I moved into the product end to accessibility, I developed from there. So they let me still do my coding and everything like that. So we're going to look at code. So let's get started. And we're going to jump right into bar charts. By the way, I'm going to speak about two things. I'm going to speak about bar charts, and I'm going to speak about accessible autocomplete. Bar charts are interesting because we like using graphs to show tabular information. So the image that I have up is a very colorful picture of a bar chart, very colorful picture of a pie chart. They're really snazzy, they're fun to look at, but they give absolutely no information. And even if they are given some kind of alternative text, usually that text really underrepresents what that bar chart is trying to say. So you need to be able to see it, and that's a bummer. But why do we use bar charts? That's because tables are boring. Even if you added color, tables would be boring. And this image that I show right here is simply, it looks like a XML spreadsheet, Excel. Excel spreadsheet, and it's got the titles across the top or the headings across the top, the headings down the left-hand side, but it's dry as dry can be, but it's amazingly accessible. I can triangulate that information, I can go to a cell, I can hear what that information represents. But how do we do both? What's happening right now is a pure black screen. What's the deal, Uncle Bob? Okay, let's try again.
It looks like an inaccessible page.
A very inaccessible page. Okay, there's that. All right. The current methods that are in use today are often, like I had said before, you have this image of the bar chart and you're given a description. The description can say something like, bar graph of money invested in 2010, 2011, and 2012. Well, great. That's all the information I get. Doesn't give me enough information. So then people go, okay, I'm going to use a graph, a bar chart, but I'm also going to use a table. Well, the problem with that is you've got to maintain 2 bits of code. You've got to use twice the real estate on the screen, so people who see things visually have to scroll down if they're going to get more information, okay? So we're solving for people who are using screen readers, but now we're compromising the visual sense for this page. The third way are JavaScript plugins, and I get a lot of this, people coming to me, developers saying, oh, I found this great JavaScript plugin, and it'll take the table and it will make it a chart. The problem with that is it's not accessible. It may often switch out information to represent a bar chart, or the chart information is sent as JSON data. Again, that's just all in a database, or that's all in your JavaScript. That does not add anything to the page data-wise to be able to consume. All right? So I wanted to stay away from JavaScript. What to do? Well, what about just HTML and CSS? Can we write a table, style that table and make that visually a bar chart while simultaneously being a table? And the answer was yes. So I'm going to read off this URL very quickly so you can go and play with it afterwards. It's http:// Haltersweb, that's HALTersweb.github.io/accessibility with the letter A capitalized. It's lowercase, it's not going to work. The A capitalized in the word accessibility, then another slash, and then all in lowercase, bar chart, all one word, .html. And I have a screen capture here showing a bar chart from this example. It shows the data usage for 4 months of people using their Xfinity data in the number of gigabytes. And they can see if there's an overage that they've gone over by, it looks like for the first one, 100,000 gigs, etc. So we're going to now see how we did this. Going to talk about the code, but I want to show it to you first. Let's show it using a screen reader. So here whoops, wrong one. We want to go, yes, no, wrong one. No, that's what we want. Okay, and I've got, let me turn this up. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Let's see. So I am in, hello, wait. Here's my mouse, let's just refresh it.
CSS-based bar chart Mozilla Firefox. Document. CSS-based bar chart. Main landmark visit. Table with 3 rows and 4 columns. This table shows internet usage and any overages by month. Age.
Oops.
Row 1, column 1 of 30, 2013. Column 2 deck. 1 deck. 31, 2013.
I'm going to go a little bit farther.
Column 4, row 3 of 30, 2013, column 1, 400 GB out of 300 GB.
So you've heard the date, and you've heard how much gigabytes you used. So we used 400 out of our 300 threshold.
Deck, 1 deck, 31, 2013, column 2, 310 GB out of 300 GB.
Okay, so again, and we could have spelled it out, December 1, December 31. In this case, we didn't. So what you're hearing is, it's a table, but look at what we're looking at. It's the exact same thing. It's not anything different. Let's take a look very quickly.
Unity hidden window.
Oops, okay, so I hit it, okay. Let's look at our, boom, boom, close that. Oops, open that, let's close this. Here's the table. So what I'm going to do now is we're looking at the code simultaneously to the table, and I'm going to move through the table in my Google Chrome Developer Tools. And as I hover through the code, we're going to see highlighted on the screen what we're looking at. So here's the table. I'm hovering over the table. And I'm going to go down to the T body. Okay, we're going to jump straight to the T body tag. And you'll notice I'm hovering, here's the row, and I'm hovering over the table data cell. And if you'll notice, it is the bar, the very first bar. Okay? What do I have in there? I've got a span inside that actually holds 2 internal spans. One is the 400 gig out of 300 gig text. And the other one is a little graphic which is laying on top showing the overage. But that first span, the usage span that also holds the 400 out of 300, that's styled, let's click and look, as we've got a class called usage, the display is block, the position is relative, we're using top and z-index, and we are, oops, let's click this one. There we go. This is what I wanted to show you. The span above the usage, the data value span has, there it is, position relative, display block, a width, a minimum width, margin, and here's the background color, okay? The internal span, because we wanted to show overage, we're doing something a little bit funky here, you don't have to, but we wanted to speak the overage, 400 out of 300, but we wanted to show the overage, so we've got a little span who has a style, inline style of 90 pixels, and it is positioned absolutely to the top of the overarching bar. Does that make any sense? Does that make sense? Great. So, in fact, I'm going to come off of my slides and just kind of talk through this, I think. So that was thing one, getting the bar. It's a table, simultaneously it's a bar chart, all CSS, using our CSS superpowers, okay? But how the heck do we put the information about each bar chart, or about each table row at the bottom? So in our bar chart, we have what would otherwise be a T head at the bottom. And under each bar is the heading, because that's how, in bar chart land, that's how we like to see it. This was a pain in the butt, because trying to put a T head at the bottom does not work with screen readers. Certain screen readers just bleh. So what happens is it stops getting read, or it gets read, basically it often just stops getting read. You move it to the bottom and it stops getting read. Or you move it to the bottom with your CSS and it stops being a table head and it starts being a data table. Well, that's not what we want. We don't have a chart with 2 data rows. We have a chart with 1 data row. But screen readers just don't like that. We even tried using T-foot, and then making the T head a height of 0, or not even using the T head. Well, what happened there? T foot is not recognized by screen readers. They consider it a table row. So now you've got 2 fully different table rows, and there's no triangulation anymore. Putting the T head and making it 0 height stops getting read. Even all kinds of craziness. How did we handle this? So I used T head, all right, it's up at the top. It is a child of table, all right, and then in each TH cell, I've got a span, and it's the span that I position. If I try to position the TH, all kinds of crazy things happen, but I can position the span and the triangulation continues. That make sense? The last thing was, how do I handle the area at the left of our table, which gives information just about the scale, okay? So in a chart, you'll have a scale where it starts maybe at 0 and then incrementally adds a visual representation of 100 gig, 200 gig, 300 gig, 400 gig. It's not really a TH, okay? And that's the problem. So how did I do this? What I did was I created, I gotta find it, let me just right click on here, inspect. And as a sibling to the table, I created a little div that basically lays behind the table and is given an Aria hidden equal to true. So it's not picked up by the screen reader because it doesn't need to be. All of the information is in the cells of the table itself. It just gives some visual representation, and then that's where I have in divs and in spans my little scaler, so to speak. Any question about that? Please feel free to go to my GitHub account, take a look at that page. You'll notice if you go at the top of the page, there is a link called View the Full Library of Accessibility Solutions. If you go there, you'll find all kinds of accessibility solutions. And at the bottom is CSS-based bar chart. It has a list of requirements. In this case, look, it's only CSS. By the way, at the top of the page of all of our accessibility solutions, they're all based on certain normalization CSS and namespacing JavaScript and accessibility helpers JavaScript. We didn't use them, the JavaScript in this case, but I always add that to every page that I'm creating. And then there is a link at the top of this for a link back to the GitHub repository. Play with these. Send me thoughts that you have. Actually, I have 3 issues. Okay, they're from June. I do mean to make these changes. Unfortunately, with my day job, I'm a little busy. But maybe around Christmas time, when everything slows down and we're in code freeze, I can start playing again. But feel free to play. Okay? Oh, fantastic. Great, thank you. All right, so part 2. We're just going to go through this, yada, yada. Autocomplete. Whoops. I put them in backwards order. Here, my slides are in backwards order. What was the goal of autocomplete? To make it keyboard accessible, and that includes keyboard-like devices. So we're going to look at a switch device. All right? Make it accessible for modal. We'll work with gestures. Again, we'll work with, we're going to look at the switch device, Bluetooth into our mobile device, and that there's enough screen reader feedback. Can this exist as a responsive page? So if I want it on the desktop or a laptop, and I'm using a regular keyboard, I know what to do to go through the autocomplete results. Or if I want to use gestures, I can go that route, and I will get the information I need to know to reach the solution that I'm looking for in my autocomplete. So the solution example is, I'm going to read the URL as well. Most of the URL is the same. It's http://haltersweb, HALTERSWEB, .github.com// the word accessibility with the A capitalized, / all lowercase autocomplete, all one word, .html. And I have here a screen capture of the autocomplete example. And we're going to take a look at that. All right. Before I jump into looking at the code, this is very Aria heavy. Let's take a look at what Aria I'm leveraging here. The input field uses 5 Aria tags. The Aria described by, the Aria owns, Aria expanded, Aria autocomplete, and Aria active descendant. Aria described by in the input field is simply to the information that's going to tell you how to use this. So it is given as its argument the ID of this little div that I've got hidden from view, but is picked up by a screen reader, and the instructions are given. Aria owns is the argument is the ID of this div that's going to expand and give us our solutions or suggestions. Aria expanded, by the way, Aria expanded because we're going to, in essence, what we've got is like a blind, okay? That blind is going to expand or collapse. But remember this, and this is, a lot of developers get this confused. Aria expanded, false or true, lives on the triggering mechanism and not on the div that's expanding and contracting. That's very important. So how do you make that relationship? And that goes back to the Aria owns. So the Aria owns is the expandable content, and Aria expanded states whether that expandable content is an expanded or a contracted state by true or false. Yes?
Can you say that again? Sorry, that you just, because I think that's important. Which piece is expanded and where you put the Aria expanded?
Okay, great. So in this case, the input field has the Aria expanded currently at false. But the Aria expanded lives on the input field. If I had a blind that had a button to open the blind, Aria expanded would live on the button, okay? The Aria owns, which is also on, in this case, the input field, or in the case of, let's say it was a button with a blind mechanism, the Aria owns creates the relationship by saying this ID of this triggerable element or focusable element, this idea that the ID that's on the triggerable or focusable element owns the expanded content, and that's the ID of the expanded content is the argument for Aria owns. But take away this. Aria expanded must be on the triggering mechanism. In this case, the input field, in a true blind case, in the button. Does that make sense? Great. I am using an Aria autocomplete both. Why both? It is a way for the screen reader to know that both a list of choices appears and the currently selected suggestion also appears in the input field, okay? Is this widely recognized by screen readers right now? No. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be semantically honest and semantically correct. And we'll wait for the screen readers to catch up, but we're going to do our level best to make sure that we are semantically honest. The Aria active descendant on this input field is currently empty. Let's just hold that in the back of our minds. We're now going to go into the expandable content. I promise I will get to the code, but two things to remember on the unordered list that I'm serving. So it's got the ID, that results ID, that's handshaking with the inputs Aria owns, and it's got a role of list box. Because even though it's an unordered list, it's not a select. And this is kind of acting like a select, isn't it? So we've got to make that Aria representation for screen readers. Then the list items are each a role of option, okay? That ties in to its parent unordered list role of list box, okay? The ID is empty here. Remember that, keep that in the back of your head, because that's going to start getting populated. And Aria selected for all of the list items are currently false, okay? All right, so that's a lot to consume, but let's take a look at it. And I'm going to look at the code here. You know what? Got the code here, but let's just look at it. Oh my goodness, I'm getting close to the end here. Sorry. Oh, here it is. Accessible autocomplete. So you'll notice, I'm going to just type something in just so we can see the mechanism happening. Here is our results. And if you look at one of them, okay, the one that's selected, let's get it selected. Take a look at, we're selecting Apple. It's our first result out of 6. And the selected item now has the ID is now populated with selected option. And the parent's active descendant is also selected option. Okay? So we're tying the input field with what's being selected. Okay? It's a lot. Because I'm low on time, I would say go in and play with this. There's a lot working on under the hood. And for those of you who like to delve into the CSS here, and there's some JavaScript that's helping this happen, do that. I'm just going to show you how it works in a screen reader. Okay?
CSS-based bar chart Mozilla Firefox. CSS. Navigation toolbar. Search or enter. Search. Accessible autocomplete. Link skip to main content. Main landmark. Busy. Accessible autocomplete.
Just going to click
link. Search for. Edit collapsed as autocomplete when autocomplete results are available. Use up and down arrows to review and enter to select. Touch device users. Explore by touch or with swipe gestures. Blank.
Okay, I'm going to type just a letter in.
A. Expanded. 6 results are available. Keyboard users. Use up
And then
down
it'll
arrows
remind
to
you, but we'll
review
just go
and enter
through.
to list. Apple 1 of 6. Avocado 2 of 6.
And I'm going to have avocado.
Search for. Edit collapsed as autocomplete when autocomplete results are available.
And it goes
Use up
through
and
that.
down arrows to review and enter to select. Touch device users. Explore
All right.
by touch or with swipe gestures. No search
Okay.
File submenu
Oh,
Alt plus F1
sorry.
of 7. Accessible
Okay.
autocomplete document.
All right. Sorry, it gets a little long, but then it says that it's got avocado or whatever in there. But let's just show very quickly how this works in a touch device. And I'm actually going to, for the sake of time, jump right to switch device with our touch device. Okay, got my switch device here. This should be working. Here we go. And we're going to put my switch control on. I think I've got sound. All right. Where's my sound? All right, I'm going to have to explain what's happening. I apologize. The sound doesn't seem to pipe through. Okay. Turning my switch control on. I have the same page, so I'll describe what's happening. I've just hit next, and the page has a selector saying, do I want this page? I'm going to hit accept or yes. I'm going to move down by hitting next, 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 next. And I'm now in the search part of the page. I'm going to select that. All right. And now it's gone into the input field. I'm hitting, going into my text keys or type keys. I'm just going to put the letter Q in. All right. By the way, I didn't bother writing the logic to actually do A's are all of these and B's are all of these. We're just type in a letter and you get something. So I've got 6 results. I am going to hit come out of this. Done. All right. Now I'm going to go in to my what has been returned, and I'm going to select the second one, avocado. I'm going to hit enter, and avocado has been populated. And let me take this off and try to do it out loud. Okay, let's do it this way. So you'll have to kind of just listen. Voiceover.
Visited. In-page link. Accessible auto. View the full. Search for. Text field. Collapsed. When auto. Insertion point at end. Quick nav
Gave
off.
the same information, by the way.
Insertion point at end.
Okay. Where's my text?
Search for. Text field. Insertion point at end.
Oh, good.
Quick
Gravy.
reload. Button.
Reload.
Reader available. Skip to main. Access. Search for. Text field. Insertion point at end. Quick nav off.
Where's my text?
Search
Oh,
for.
I swear it
text
was just
field.
working.
Alert. Act selected. Select. Voiceover off.
Why is my, oh, done. Huh, this is something wrong with my, I can't put text in at all. It has, I may have to relaunch Safari. I want to be, I'm already gone 4 minutes over. Sorry for the mix up here. Please try it out, okay? Please try it out. There are a couple things I'm not overly happy with. I'd love to see if you guys are not overly happy with it and make some suggestions. But all in all, we've had a couple people who are blind try it out and they really like it. So come and see me after so you guys can get what you need to eaten. And I will call this up in a moment and you guys can come over, or anyone who wants to listen. Thank you guys.